champion if the team comp calls for it. Obviously, Xayah as well. And then this Jhin that got banned on the last game could still be a thing for Peyz.
Jhin is still up and available, and if we're talking about AD mids, okay, Yone gets banned, so the likelihood of seeing some mages pop up for Gala or Peyz starts to wind down just a little bit. You no longer have Jace either, so the flex potential is no longer there. Could start to see mid lane first picks as the champion pools are starting to become pinched. We see that reflected immediately with Rookie taking an Ahri game.
God, you're so smart, brother. That was good call, man. Good call.
Am I smart, or have I just casted way too many damn games of the LPL this season already?
Oh, it could be both. It could be both. And now we're starting to think of things you would want to pair up, potentially things you'd want to take away. A Xin Zhao Ahri combination is really strong, so it looks like JDG very well aware of that. Want to make sure that Jiejie and Rookie cannot get going and try to run over the game like JDG did to IG.
Do you just take your top laner here, give Allah and Bessa maybe a Gnar setup? Allah has been a player that has done pretty well when he has counter pick in particular. So kind of have to pick not a random, but what kind of AD carry do we want from Peyz here? He has been, like we said, playing the Jhin a fair bit. We're going to get the Galio instead, which obviously great matchup individually, also being able to impact the rest of the map. This is potentially a flex into support. I know we've gotten some Galio support players in the league, so always something to keep in mind.
Kai'Sa going to get locked in, and then an Alistar as well. So the bot lane of IG getting locked in early, and they are ready to try to get to the back line and wreak some havoc.
And this is the really tricky part, because a lot of the engage supports are already gone. In terms of the top four, Rel and Nautilus already gone. Now you have Alistar picked. Leona's the last one up and available if they really want to go for it. Instead, JDG are going to try to put a focus on their solo lanes potentially. Instead, going for the Rakan here. One of Missing's best champions. He was on a 27-game win streak up until recently. So not surprised to see it here. But now we get into the back end of draft. And what pairings are we going to be getting here for our two teams? What AD carries for Peyz are we looking at? There's no Ezreal, and you have to imagine that IG are going to be focusing even more on his champion pool now.
Yeah, just go and aim 80 carries, and if you're JDG, I can't imagine you're going to not ban a jungler here. I think that a Maokai would be a pretty solid option. You do have a couple of other dive options. I mean, like, Wukong's kind of out of vogue now, but he would actually still fit the dive theme if you wanted to go for it. But we'll see what JDG opts into banning here. Something that hopefully won't disrupt their team comp too much if it gets picked up. If they leave some options on the table.
I want to plant this seed for everybody.
Let's hear it.
This might be a Peyz Twitch game.
Okay.
So,
all right. So why?
A lot of AD carries out of the way already. We have Kai'Sa picked, who is naturally a pretty weak into Twitch, just having the invisibility and the way that he opens up and fights. I think that IG are kind of thinking about some different AD carries. Again, Jhin probably the more popular answer, but with Jinx now taken instead, I think you kind of have two options. You can go for the Jhin. You're going to have hyper scaling in terms of the amount of AD that he has. You have the Rakan. I think being able to open up on random fights with Twitch is actually pretty dangerous, and we know Peyz to have a pocket of that champion. So
all right,
instead goes for the Zeri.
Yeah, lock in the Zeri because, you know, there's no point and click left available, right? Nautilus not available, Vi banned. So those are your two very popular choices to answer Zeri that are not going to be available for IG. So it's going to mean that Rookie is going to be under immense pressure if this game goes late to get on top of Peyz and try to land these charms. IG going to have to pick their jungler and their top laner. Interested to see where this Jax will go if it gets locked in. It is famously a good matchup into Xin Zhao through the jungle.
Yeah, good into Xin Zhao there. Good into Galio later on into the game with just the fact that he's going to be having a lot of MR versus the Jax. In a side lane, I think we're going to start to see IG be very, very dominant. They're a team that has really, really solid solo lanes here. This Jax is actually going into the jungle if this hover is to be believed. And yeah, okay.
Okay.
So IG are a very short-ranged composition, really reliant on finding counter-strikes, finding engages with the Alistar and this charm from Ahri. Whereas JDG, I'm going to be honest, if they lock in this Ornn, they have absolutely no damage on
No
this team.
damage.
And it is
They
down to
did.
Peyz to 1v9 this game now. He is going to have a Galio in his back pocket, a Xin Zhao who's going to provide space alongside his Rakan, and maybe he gets a good team fight set up here, but IG have way too many ways of getting into the backline. They have an Ahri, a Kai'Sa, a Jax. This is going to be such a tough game for Peyz to win.
Yeah, man. And like it's gonna take so long for him to get online too. Like this is really confusing out of JDG, but hey, Shuna's all smiles, so it's all good, I guess. But
Yeah.
dude, I have to say I am not happy with what they put together at all. Like conceptually, sure, it works, it functions, but Shuna's gonna have to do so much heavy lifting in this early game. It's gonna be insane.
And if you look, like, he doesn't even win the early skirmishing power,
No.
right? Like, you have a barely even lane in mid lane. Top lane, you're going to have Renekton, who shouldn't be able to kill Ornn, but will always have the ability to have priority, especially early on. So any objectives that IG want, they're going to be theirs. Any early fights that they want to take, they're more than likely going to be theirs. It's just going to be about, can Jiejie, with this Galio in his back pocket, get enough work done to buy space and time for Peyz. I have never seen more of a draft that is just saying, look, Peyz, throughout all of 2025, you have been the best player on our team, bar none. Here's keys to the kingdom. You have to win us this game when we get to late game.
But there is no kingdom, right? There are tools available. There are building blocks. You have one really strong worker in the Xin Zhao, right? And you have to build an entire castle, essentially. And maybe they'll be able to build it with the bones of IG as we're on the Rift for the last game.
That guy is going to lose his voice worse than me. Damn.
That guy is putting in work. Love that.
Love the support that they're getting in this final game. A 5th series in a row going all the way to 3. We have had 15 games in the last two and a half days, which is nuts, especially when we talk about playing every day at least 2 best-of-3s here in the LPL. And what a wonderful way to end tonight with IG going up against JDG in a composition that we favor IG for majority of the game, and kind of looking at the new upstart, the new carry for JDG in the AD carry position to do it all for them here.
He's got his cleanse as well, so even if Rookie is able to get back there to take him out later on, it's going to take TheShy or Jiejie getting close as well. The good news is for those champions, it's not incredibly difficult as we head into this early game with both junglers starting on the top side of the map. Remember, we talked about how the Jax is very favorable into the Xin, and Shun is going to have to do a lot in this early game. As long as Jiejie can just keep him in check, I have to say it favors IG heavily early on.
Yeah, and we might even have to have a really important performance here from Missing on his iconic Rakan here, as if he gets a charm, he can really stop a lot of what IG are going to be able to do, but he has to be there in position and ready to protect his AD carry and the rest of his team. So JDG, again, first round robin going up against IG. We'll have a second match up against these guys in a few weeks' time here in the regular season, but getting this win here helps solidify their place in the top 3 of the league. If you are JDG and if you're IG or looking to try to make a name here, show that, you know, some of the misgivings of this team are simply just a calibration phase for IG.
Big chunks out of the bottom side, and TheShy has done really well split pushing so far in this series. Do JDG really have an answer for him later on either? Like, Ornn is not going to be able to do all that much, but hold that thought as the exhaust goes down after a nice Meiko engage. Good stuff as they try to burn some of these summoner spells out of JDG.
There's good damage as well coming out from Peyz. It was the exhaust going down, so minor advantage there as Meiko is going to continue to fish. We'll say it is an HP advantage going over to the side of IG, or going over to the favor of JDG. We'll see if Meiko is going to look. There's minions that are right next to him. I can kind of, he's getting ready to do a flat, to like a headbutt pulverize combo. And we have our bottom laners, or junglers already here. Jiejie is going to be a lot closer.
All right, trading knockups here, and Gala's going to have to burn the barrier, but Peyz burns the cleanse. Ignite down 2.
Gets spotted on this ward. He's going to try and come behind JDG's bottom lane. Shun the entire time is sitting. That is such an unlucky combo right there. Meiko doesn't have it. Scout's already making the move. Jiejie is just going to try to wrap around. They know he's in this side of the jungle here.
No.
This might be an early first kill going over.
All right, where is he? Oh my god. They're going to check this push, right? Okay, he's going to use Shun to try to get out of there. The knockup 2. Counter strike. So Meiko's trying to bail him out. Flash on top of him. He's going to hop to Meiko. The chase is still on. Missing does have flash available. Scout moving down 2. Peyz looking to get a little bit close. No knockup to be had.
And an advantage now going over to IG because of that play. The fact that they're able to waste so much time of JDG. They had Scout move out of mid lane. It's a minor amount of CS going over in favor of Rookie. I think you're happy about that, just being able to protect your bottom lane. Now it's continuing to be a win. We see more summoner spells being traded from these bottom lanes. No secondary summoner spells coming in for Gala and Meiko, and same can be said here for JDG, as the junglers path back up towards the top side after their resets. And it looks like Shun is going to be looking potentially for some action in the mid lane.
Pressure really on Gala and Meiko to make sure that they don't die and they get kills, because things go bad down there. The game could spiral out of control. So Alam does manage to force off TheShy, but is that a mana? Big double knockup once again, as Meiko has hit a lot of them, but he missed that one that could have resulted in a kill earlier.
All that matters is that he's helping his AD carry get his wave in under the turret and getting some pretty good chunks down onto Peyz and missing. It's a bit tough in this matchup. Alistar could stop Rakan in the middle of his combo. It's going to be up to missing really to kind of play a little bit reactive, and Meiko always has first say as to what exactly happens as this support. So getting recalls in, missing will take his first, but Meiko's already back out onto the map and leaving the base now. So early vision going in. We said that with Renekton, we should be expecting early priority coming in, but looks like instead what they're going to try and do is potentially play around bottom side of the map, open themselves up for an early dragon and try to cut JDG, because they know that even if they give them grubs, they're never hitting any of these turrets.
Going to send Gala into the mid lane here, and TheShy is going to teleport after walking out just a little bit. So going to look for that bit of extra pressure as nobody assigned to the top side right now. You can see Peyz starting to move into the mid lane, so those waves are just hanging out. Charm lands onto missing. Yeah, that was pretty sick.
I mean, that right there just completely blows open this play. Like, we're already seeing TheShy. Now he gets to move over and kind of bully Shun. Galio is in the area. Peyz can be as well. TheShy is just taking the risk. Yeah. And in mid lane, they're not even giving any quarter.
Yeah, he's used his ultimate, but now he's in a 3v1 right now. Call the Forge God coming through as well. TheShy gets first blood, but finally goes down to the back half, and Meiko's got a flash, but right into Scout as IG couldn't link up. And Ala going in a little too close here. Good damage coming out from Rookie. There's a couple of spell rotations left. Maybe looking for a Wayward Charm. Jiejie gonna go in. There's the coverage from the Galio to try to keep these guys alive. Jiejie gets taunted in the back of the pit. Knocked up, put in the bounce house. Hops over the wall. People are low. And in the end, no further deaths.
That dragon knockback may have been the difference between Jiejie falling and Jiejie living there. Gets to get next to the wall. It CCs everybody who is in the pit, and then he's able to just flash right on out. Such a tough and close fight here. TheShy getting that first kill is honestly as good as it was going to get. He sacrificed a lot of his life just to get into that back line. And now it means that JDG still have access to these grubs. They even get the flash out from Peyz, so TheShy is doing a lot of heavy lifting, even if it's some dirty work here.
Yeah, really getting the job done early. He has played a very good series. 2 grubs to JDG. Again, no dragon, but taking those grubs away from TheShy and his great side laning prowess is very important.
Okay, so going to be taking a look as this game continues on. We had a replay here of some of the play. And yeah, this is just watching TheShy just honestly waste a lot of JDG's time with his dominance. The fact that he even gets this kill onto Shun is really impressive, because if he lives there and he's able to kind of turn around and use that 3 talent strike, I think maybe this is a lot more in favor of JDG. It's pretty just a sloppy fight all around.
Yeah, not Meiko's best flash either. That's going to be a big tool not available for the next sequence, right? As this dragon is still up. We'll see which team wants to opt into it. Right now we have Gala matching Scout in the bottom lane. Not too discernible of a difference in terms of CS between him and Peyz, but does have a call in his back pocket.
So as we kind of check back into this game, we're kind of seeing right now that we're getting more of the repercussions of this top lane matchup, where Ala is just way too tanky as this Ornn early on. And while Gala is getting farm, like we were saying, getting that call is going to try to accelerate himself a little bit ahead of his counterpart here. I'm still looking for how IG are going to try to use some of their early action. They have so many tools to be able to win fights versus JDG in particular. And right now, JDG are kind of trying to take it slow and steady in this game, as just being able to grab 2 grubs, I think, is a really big win for this team. And the fact that no dragon has quite been started here for IG, they haven't found a timer, is still at an advantage for Jindong Gaming.
Yep, IG really hoping that they can parlay these objective fights into leads, as TheShy's going to pop the dominance and look for the 1v1 onto Ala, call the forge guard, land on top of him, and Ala is the one to win the 1v1.
Oh my god, I mean, why is TheShy, are we taking this trade? Maybe we're just setting up for Rookie to try to clean up as well. I mean, he's no flash, no mana here from Ala. Should just be a pretty good kill for him. But now this opens up like a pretty big, desperate, like, numbers advantage across the map. Rookie's going to have to stay here, at least push this wave. TheShy cannot teleport. And Rookie has his, but if he has to use his summoner spell, then I think that JDG are in such a good spot.
Couldn't agree more, Alk. It feels like this game has gone very weird from that first fight, as JDG came out on top of it. And this low damage composition, obviously early on, your base damages are going to do a lot to get you through it. As we said, all they need to do is build the bridge for Peyz to be able to take over. And right now, he has not been disturbed in the slightest.
I mean, he lost his flash in mid lane after that play, and they haven't really been able to focus this. Mostly with just the fact that they had to send Ahri up into top lane, and JDG just not inviting a fight right now. They're saying, we're going to take our farm, we're going to take whatever camps we can, and if you give us objectives, then hey, that's a pretty good trade for us. 50 seconds before the next grub spawn. And while almost all of the summoner spells are up and available, for JDG, they're at a slight disadvantage there. I think they might still be willing to take a fight, however, when you look at a lot of the ultimates still being up and available for JDG.
Yeah, we've talked about Missing's very legendary Rakan, looking for him to really make a large impact in the next fight, right? He is going to be the one that we are very worried about if you're IG, right? You need to be aware of wherever Missing is.
Mm-hmm. Right now, we're just watching JDG. They took a large amount of their resets. 3 of their players just now coming out of base. It's going to be Scout teleporting in. We'll see how many grubs IG are able to get. They're here on spawn, and a lot of the early vision does go over in favor of Invictus Gaming. The very least, they'll be able to grab themselves one. And with Ahri moving on down, I think it is very realistically possible that they can try to find something here for this team, as looks like there's going to be multiple grubs being given over. They had Galio. They moved Galio over for this play. And it seems like instead, JDG or IG are more than willing to just kind of split the difference and go 3 for 3.
All right. You know what? If you're going to do that, I guess that's okay, right? You know, IG get theirs. You know, you don't typically see a Jax out of the jungle get as much split push time, but it is still possible. So evening up those grubs is very beneficial for IG at that. Obviously, Rookie in a side lane will be of a lot of value too.
Okay, so coming on through, we're kind of seeing that JDG now get to posture around this mid lane wave. Very slow game here. I'm sure it is very tense for these players. Again, only a regular season game, but double round robin and every match kind of being very important. IG already 3-3 in series score. kind of puts him in a tough position when we talk about being able to play 18 best of threes. A third of your season already gone there, as trying to make this engage onto Ala, but this is so fake. He still has he still has flash.
All right, they're going to chunk out Ala at the very least, but the knockup is there, and as you said, Shun is here. Ala will be able to walk away as expected, but yeah, you're right. And this is a big prove-it series for IG as well. You know, we talked about how they already knocked off TES, but to be able to come in and be able to come back from their loss that they had against NIP and then take a win over another top 3 team, you know, just solidifies the fact that they are a team that we could expect to contend with top 4, if not our at least consistent one at the top.
Interesting lane assignments coming in from JDG right now. They used Ala in mid lane after holding down this bottom lane wave, and now we're going to get TP from behind. Scout doesn't have TP, he can't get here.
Okay, they find TheShy, but there's double knockups coming through. It's taken a long time, but Rookie's finally gotten here. Peyz going to try to go over the wall. Jun trying to help out as well. Rookie got exhausted. Peyz is able to get away. Jiejie just trying to get on top of Shun, but can't even get him with a counter strike. IG play for a lot and lose everything.
And now you're looking on top side, Scout is still pushing. How much more can IG actually get from this play? The minion wave is completely deleted. Peyz playing with so much patience and a lot of killer instinct there. Finds that pick onto TheShy. Even uses his cleanse to be willing to kind of play up against this. But I think this is just going to be the turret now coming in. They don't have enough HP. They're not willing to trade more summoner spells here. Shun is even going to have most of his jungle now taken in front of him.
Right over on this top side, Scout going to come through, and he will get that first turret. Shun will secure that blue buff, so IG lost so much for that play. And it ends up being 500 going gold. Over. Yeah, it's tough. It's real bad.
I think it's obviously still playable, still a lot of room here for IG to be able to find them. Again, all it comes down to is, can they actually find Peyz? And they're very one note. Any crowd control they get, that's plasma procs applied, and Gala can fly in with the ultimate. So still a lot of options here. It takes one fight to be able to break this game. Very similar to just having a blitzcrank in the game at all times. Single hook changes the entire trajectory, as for right now, it's just going to be, you know, a slight advantage to some of the members of IG. TheShy is going to be very comfortable with taking this 1v1, as he is, again, you're playing into a Galio who has opted for Leandri's first. Eyes going over to the Rift Herald spawning in a few seconds time here. IG have already put multiple members into the top side of the map. Rookie not having teleport is going to be a bit worrisome, but you also know that Ala won't be able to join this fight. And TheShy is continuing to push in the top lane, so gives them easy ways to play for it. Instead, they want to go for the Dragon here. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting too. But, you know, I guess they're pretty worried about the potential Dragon stacking that JDG could put together with their good late game scaling. So ends up going over to IG, and over on the top side, the Rift Herald taken care of by JDG.
I'm a bit worried for this trade. So it's solo gold for Gala, which is nice. 300 gold in his back pocket is going to feel very good, but I think you can make a very similar trade as JDG when you have this Rift Herald. You kind of see that now in the same way that just happened bottom lane. They're taking control of Jiejie's bot lane or top lane drag. Oh my god.
Here we go. This is Rookie's opportunity to maybe make a big play. He's going to dash in, and they're going to find the Galio missing, trying to do his thing, trying to escape this fight. Able to dash away, but gets charmed up, and they ascend on him like a pack of wolves. Peyz has to go over the wall to get away as IG make a good play.
And Rookie right now is starting to warm up here in this game on the Ahri. This will now be another turret going over, so Gala has now been able to participate in 2 turret takes. Ala, while in the bottom lane, takes a bottom lane tier 1. I don't think you're too aggravated as IG for that start of the play. Maybe they can continue this. Ala still has flash. I think it's a bit tough. I think it'd take a little too long here, and at this point, IG should just be looking to get some resets, spend some of their gold, and be happy that they're able to defend their topside jungle.
And that was an upgraded boot stiff right there. You know, that's why Ala was so quick. But take a look at this replay, man. I mean, you know, JDG just trying to continue the play, and teams will make mistakes when they try to push for more.
That counter-strike is just so, you know, intrusive to what JDG want to be able to accomplish. The fact that Blast Cone doesn't get taken there, meant that JDG were stuck in that fight for a little bit longer, and that is 2 kills going over to the side of IG, where we wanted to see them kind of take the wings out from underneath JDG. And while there's still this, they actually used the Rift Herald. Where was it used?
Huh?
Where is JDG's Rift Herald? Did they just put it in mid and it got absolutely nothing?
Tell me they didn't not pick it up, right?
They picked it up. They for sure had it in that last play. Just what did we use it on?
I'm sure we'll see a replay of that, or maybe
I hope
we
so.
will. Who knows? Honestly,
they just kind of waste this as a tool. Missing, trying to see if he can maybe fish onto Meiko, but the rest of IG are just lying in wait.
Uh-oh, knock up onto Shun. He gets charmed up, but here comes the Galio. Meiko knocked up, put in the bounce house, but trying to survive.
TheShy on the
Peyz, no
flank.
ultimate. Shy, as you said, on the flank, gets taunted up, though. He's got a flash over the wall, trying to peel back to Ala, but big knock up coming through from Ala. Missing's in there, too. Jiejie with the counter strike to the back line to Ala, but they peel back and take him down. A 3 for 2 in favor of JDG.
All of the rookie Foxfires used to try to make that pick onto Missing. Galio comes in with the ultimate, and at that point the fight is lost. JDG find themselves with 3 kills in that trade, and a lot of summoners being burned on both sides. As we take a look at this replay, I think playing into a choke is not what IG want to be doing right now. Again, this Galio ult just buys so much space for the team. And then the immediate turn here. TheShy is not able to get into this backline. And look at how much time and space Allah is able to build with this Ornn. A re-engage from Meiko just feels like, what are we doing, man? This is not the combo nor the target that we want to be placing. Jiejie just barely is able to equalize some of this trade for them. And this game is going to get tougher and tougher here. Again, JDG very reliant. Some of their damage is now going to be coming in from Scout and from Shun with these 2 items. But I am just looking at Peyz. Yuntal Wild Arrows, Arunons, have to be imagining there's probably going to either be a Shield Bow or an Infinity Edge third. And at that point, it gets even more difficult to take down this AD carry.
Yeah, he's down a little bit of gold, but it doesn't matter, man. When the Zeri has this much CS, this many items at 20 minutes, something has gone horribly wrong if you're on the other side having to deal with it. JDG has done well to play around their AD carry. And right now, I don't know what more IG is going to be able to do, right? Because all of these flashes are down. Meiko maybe is going to have to catch Peyz napping, but Peyz has really been locked in and has not put himself in harm's way.
I think I'm really happy about this state for IG. Like, you have so much mobility. Almost all of your champions have a dash in some sort. So the fact that a lot of these flashes for JDG are missing, I think is fine. The big ones that I'm looking at, the 2 summoner spells are the most important for JDG, are on Peyz. He has his flash, he has his cleanse. It's probably going to be a fight that they're going to be looking for the next couple of objectives. A dragon going over in favor of IG. So at the very least, 10 minutes before we have that up and available. And I think it is very worrisome that if JDG get this Otacon, they are potentially in a spot to outright win the game, because those next 2.5 minutes give them the false life from this voracious Otacon. And that basically means that JDG can play a little looser, a little bit with less care. They can, walk forward into the opponents and know, look, we have an extra life, we'll just respawn in a little bit. So I kind of want to see JDG put a little bit more focus towards the bottom lane and how they prepare and get around to make sure that they're here for this objective and forcing JDG to come meet them.
You can see there were a couple pings on it, a lot of on my way pings toward the Otacon. We'll see what the move is, as Missing is backing here, so I don't think we're going to see much of anything with this Otacon, at least just yet. Baron up in about 2.5 minutes. But it is a big point of contention, AlkBattery, and the longer that IG goes without doing anything... Oh, man, they have no idea this is going on right now.
Okay, so Jiejie is going to be coming through. Meiko's on his way. Jiejie is walking on over. They have an idea this is happening.
Hang
they
on.
made a pick on a Meiko.
Yeah, teleports are coming in, but guess what? Your guy's going to be a little bit closer if you're JDG. Meiko, no flash. Gala's got to get out of there, too. He's forced to flash. Rookie with a taunt, but on the backside, big knockups from missing. Big CC. Jiejie hops over the wall. Call the Forge God splits the gap on the mid 80 carry as Meiko falls, and TheShy is getting pelted by Peyz. And he looks good, like he's gonna dive the turret and take him down. The JDG 80 carry gets another.
And missing on this recon, I mean, he just stops Jiejie and Meiko from being able to escape. Maybe they go for this Otacon now. Zeri has a lot of HP. Scout and Swin are going to be in this area. Gala could not get into that fight and lost his flash. So the exact horror show that we had for JDG is now coming to reality. They'll get a false life buff, and it'll basically overlap with the dragon spawning in 3 minutes time. Great job from the bottom lane duo of JDG to find this pick and force Meiko out very early on.
And these guys are firing on all cylinders, and as you said, look out for this play from Missing in just a moment. The quickness, able to get on 2 priority targets even though he started in a different direction. So impressive.
I thought that this was going to be more kills. I thought maybe we were going to see JDG kind of try to collapse onto Rookie, but a big focus onto getting down to TheShy. So he ends up missing. One thing that maybe you could try to play for as IG is that there is no longer an exhaust coming out from this recon, but Ultimate's backing up and available. Still these summoners now back on the table, and if you're IG, you're missing a few of them on some of your key members. IG did not accelerate this game fast enough here, and now you're kind of playing a game where you're basically hoping you land some kind of plasma procs onto Peyz, and that your backline is able to just straight up rush him, because other than that, it is not going to get any more fun to play this game as Invictus.
Yeah, that first fight at the Dragon not going well for IG, or not going smoothly, I should say. Really felt like it put them in a bit of a bind. You used a lot of your cooldowns early. You know, Rookie's first ultimate was spent not doing much. And when you get behind like that against a team the caliber of JDG, they will continue to open up the lead bit by bit as Missing is going in. And here's the call to Forge God coming through too. Going to try to get these guys in the corner, and they're going to peel all the way back as Meiko is going to get knocked up and will go down. Peyz gets another.
And does this just start up the Baron? They still have Otacon here. 50 seconds,
lightning
Peyz
crash.
lets loose!
All right, the charm did force the cleanse out of Peyz, but IG a little low in the health bar department as the Baron looks like it's going to be started here. The recall coming through from Ala. He does have his teleport available. The false life buff still very much a thing. Missing, going to heal up a little bit on the side. Scout looking for a little bit of a cheeky flank as TheShy looking to do the same.
Massive flank from Scout.
Oh, this is huge. They have no idea. They have no idea. The taunt comes through, and JDG come up huge with that pick, and they'll peel back to the Baron again.
And they still have false slice for at least another 15 seconds. Jiejie is back up and available, but he has half HP
Charm
here. Look at all the damage that IG are trying to get, but hey, this Baron is starting to peel. They need to finish, or they need to get out of the pit.
It's at 6,000. It's a mighty slow Baron AlkBattery. Another charm off to the side as Rookie just tries to force off all of the knockups onto TheShy. Are they going to turn onto him fully? He's able to get out for now. This Baron is still alive. Still getting low. Meiko looking to go in. Charm doesn't land, but Peyz is out of the pit. And all of a sudden, things are a little wonky, but they get back into the pit. And it's stolen away by Rookie! IG Rookie! And the turnaround, the solo laners trying to do what they can. Rookie in a 3v1 will slide out, but Peyz gets 3 on the back half anyway.
He had no flash during so much of this play, and Rookie stealing that Baron keeps them in the game. Gala is rushing over to this red buff. He's going to try and do this dragon in the meantime as well. Maybe it's a little too late for him. I thought maybe with having these 3 items, Gala would feel a bit more empowered, but too much movement speed coming in from JDG. And that just barely keeps them in the game. I don't even say it outright helps them win back this game. But Rookie is playing out of his mind this series. If we think about the game just before this on the Azir, where he's the only member that is able to kind of hold his own as this Azir game crumbles around him. Now on the Sari, I unfortunately think it is a little too late for some of these heroics now, as JDG are going to be missing some of their key summoner spells. It has to be this fight coming in for them if IG are going to have any chance of winning this game.
Does Rookie have a little bit more magic? You can see him on a flank. You know he's sniffing around for Peyz because that cleanse is still down. They're going to peel back onto the dragon is IG, looking to put themselves on soul point, but the teleport's coming in. JDG does not want to let this go away. It will be soul point. The knockup is on to Allah. Missing in Peyz, just hanging out on the backside, and JDG will let this one go.
Not too mad about that one right now. Again, trying to see whether or not they can try to gauge for this, but I like this from JDG. Protect the inside track, force IG out from here. This will turn into a turret in the mid lane.
Oh, Rookie.
Rookie is fishing. He just used his ultimate. Okay, use all of it. Okay, so he used all of his charges just so it goes back on cooldown. I respect it. Maybe he was trying to look for it. It is a relatively low cooldown, especially early. We got to take a look again at this replay. And Peyz in such a weird position because he has to basically dash out to avoid the charm. Gets knocked back in. And what steals this for Rookie? Foxfire. Smite comes down. Is that just like a what is he? So he has Rod of Ages. Does he have Leandri's? Is it Leandri's tick for him? Either way.
I don't know.
A huge steal.
Yeah, and, you know, that was a really well-played fight from Rookie, but, I mean, Peyz played that fight phenomenally, right?
Yeah.
Just on a nice edge, dodging on that charm, then heading back in, able to kill Meiko before he can get a knock-up and disrupt. But a huge hero play by Rookie. He's going to need one more, and, yeah, I think it might have been a Leandri's tick.
Yeah, now the issue that I'm having here, Yanni, is I'm looking at summoner spells again. I know we keep harkening back to them, but it's really the big equalizer when it comes to these fights. IG, 3.5 minutes, they're going to have access to an Infernal Soul if they can secure it, but Peyz has hit level 16. He has his cleanse back up, and he'll have his flash in a little bit of time. What is his back here? Is he going to be finishing an Infinity Edge here? No, he gets Guardian Angel instead. Okay, so alongside the Shield Bow, he's already remarkably tough to kill. They're going to have to do it a second time here for JDG if they want a chance to be able to take down this team.
And it's great pick insulation because I think Rookie is really the only one, or obviously like Jiejie getting a huge surprise engage. Like those are the only ones that are actually going to be able to do anything to Peyz. So even if he gets picked off, the rest of the team can kind of flock around him as long as he's not super far away. So Rookie trying to chunk out Scout as best he can right now, but yeah, these teams playing this game on a knife's edge right now. IG on the precipice of falling to a 3-4 record. Is JDG in the driver's seat? Peyz, the one that we said was going to take over the game late. Well, guess what? It's late, and he is taking over.
We had a graphic made very early on into the year about the different AD carries that JDG has brought over. They had Imp. Obviously, the most famous one is going to be having Ruler and Hope from years ago. But having to fill in for Ruler, who 2023 has one of the best seasons ever, right? Going in almost golden roads that entire year long. 2024 wasn't the same. JDG were missing a little bit. Obviously, they had to bring in a new mid laner. They had lost Knight over to BLG, and Ruler just didn't seem the same. Same thing with Missing. And another situation where Peyz gets replaced by Ruler, going back to Gen G, having to now come here into JDG. These were big shoes to fill, and we're seeing it in live time in every one of these series. Peyz really putting forward his stamp as one of the best AD carries here in the league, mechanically speaking.
Yeah, it just continues to over and over again impress, improve people wrong, and show that he was definitely what made Gen G tick, right? This guy was very, very good. Everybody thought, as we said earlier, oh, he was carried by the rest of the team. Not so. He's doing the carrying here for JDG. 33 seconds to Destiny as this Baron comes up, and then shortly after, this Dragon.
Ooh, and I like this coming out from Missing. Small itemization change here. Missing going for the Mikhail, so a secondary cleanse now available for any member of JDG. The Masterwork items are starting to get handed out across the board. All 4 carries of JDG on this top side have access to a Masterwork item, so more stats. And kind of the big make or break point here. That Baron is up, but my eyes, Yanni, are looking towards this Dragon in 20 seconds time here. Could be the Infernal Soul giving over to IG, and they already have 2 Infernal Drakes. A third one plus the Soul makes this really dangerous to play.
JDG immediately sprint to the Baron. Scout looking for another nice flank here, but this time around, that one brush is warded. Jiejie has a feeling that he's around the TheShy, looking for a flank of his own as the Baron
Okay, they
continues to
spotted
be
him
gone.
now.
Here we go, immediate CC lock on the missing as he goes down. Call the Forge God coming through, knocks up 2. Let's see where Scout is going to get in. Big knock up from Meiko.
Oh, wait a
Peyz?
minute!
He cleanses. Peyz gets to the other side of the fight. He's still alive somehow. He's low, but sustaining. He lives! Peyz, you're nuts! Rookie, you're out of the fight, but Gala trying to do his best Peyz cosplay on the backside. Oh my goodness, Alk, this fight was so close.
I think this is a big win. Look at where IG can go. They can go straight to the Dragon. That's Infernal Soul going to be confirmed for IG. There will be a teleport coming in from Scout. He can look for this one way. There it is. That single ward might have just saved JDG this game. They're going to peel off of this. Aula and Scout are going to be coming into this fight now. And it is just Rookie and Gala. They're going to move out. It'll be a Dragon going over to JDG. The Baron completely untouched in this fight. And we yet again have to find another fight before this game is over.
And Peyz critically still has that Guardian Angel. Take a look at this replay. IG with an immediate phenomenal pick on the missing. No impact in this fight.
I loved what we got from the solo lanes here. I mean, TheShy trying to apply pressure into the backline, trying to get onto Peyz. Disengage from Meiko. If only Scout wasn't buying space and being right in front of this. Even finds a massive knockup, pulling Rookie out of the fight and knocking up TheShy and Jiejie so that Peyz can have this fight. And while Gala is trying to do the same on the back end, this is going to be a tale of 280 carries. We talked a lot about Peyz in this one, but Gala, the original Kai'Sa player, maybe him and Jiejie Love kind of add on to that, but Gala has not had the same kind of run that he has since he left RNG, and so it'll be kind of like a make or break kind of history moment for him to be able to face against some of the top other 80 carries in the league and prove that he has still got it here.
The blood of LPL Kai'Sa runs through his veins. He has quietly amassed 4 items in this game. Hang on, they make a pick play to JDG right on top of TheShy. TheShy has to get out of there. He's going to burn Hysterics.
Okay.
He has no dominance for the fight either.
But there's no quickness here for missing, and TheShy will be able to teleport back into this play. Look at how much damage
Call the Force God.
Gala
Oh, he
gets
landed the
taunted.
taunt. Oh, he missed. He missed. Alla missed. Rookie looking to go in. Missing. Chunked. Meiko about half HP. Gala once in. So does Rookie. Rookie gets bursted out. Peyz gets stumped, but the cleanse is there. The knockups are too. TheShy will fall. Meiko on the back line trying to disrupt. And Peyz looking to get a little bit closer. A 2-for-1 right now in favor of JDG. And they will peel off and head to that Baron.
And JDG are going to move straight to that Baron, like you were just noting. Jiejie and Gala are still alive. Maybe this is just going to be a death brush here. There's no vision. IG cannot walk into this brush. They have a ward on top of the Baron, so they know. You see Gala. Okay, man. I'm glad that we're still showing a little bit of personality here. Throwing in some emotes on top of that. That one control ward on top of this Baron. Doing a hell of a lot of work for IG.
Oh my goodness, that is so good, man.
That's good, man.
And listen, you gotta have some balls to be able to do that in a game that's 36 minutes in, where your team is down about 3K, and then one crazy fight could really change the entire game and could determine a winner or a loser. And I have to say, I admired that out of Gala. Now, take stock of summoners, because Peyz's flash is still down for a little bit, but it might be up before the next fight. Scout critically can get in, land that quick taunt, see if it happens again.
While you would love to be able to punish the fact that some of your opponents are missing their flashes, I think both squads are really going to be looking for when their summoner spells are going to be coming back up. Jiejie's going to have his flash, so a flash Counter-Strike is still up and available. Meiko is going to have his flash as well coming on soon. But JDG have now split IG. They're going to take control and catch this mid-wave very high. You can kind of see the same thing coming in from Rookie, as he is trying to poke out and take this mid lane wave before JDG can do much. And they're posturing so heavily. They only have about another 30 seconds to kind of walk around this Baron, because this Dragon is spawning, and every single time it is up, it is a soul point on the line here for Invictus Gaming. Baron is going to be started. It is at half HP already.
They're ripping it, but JDG peeling off just a little bit. Shun keeping it aggro just in case they want to go back in. Scout regrouping with the team. Meiko tries to go in. No engage to be had. Getting low. Jiejie steals it. It is on top of Shun. Peyz in the back of the pit. But now he's starting to come through with the lightning crash. Look at the backside. Down goes TheShy. Missing to the back line. Gala's exhausted. And Gala tried to turn it around. But Peyz still alive. Still standing as the rest of IG will fall.
And that's it. Shun said thank you to Rookie. Thank you to TheShy for helping me get introduced into the LPL in 2021. He says, thank you for all of your teachings, but Wink is just not Peyz. He says, Gala is just not Peyz in this fight. And JDG finally break open this game. Are going to look to take the series over Invictus Gaming.
Peyz stands a tier above. JDG stand as a top team in the league. Can IG hold the line? The answer is no. The Nexus falls, and JDG win a phenomenal match.
Wait a minute!
Distance. Hang on! Hang on! Oh my goodness, it's still standing!
And IG make the defense. We were making the victory call. They're gonna get Infernal Soul here, Yanni. And we still got fight. IG do not want to go out. Look at it.
He's trying to get this wave in. Oh my goodness. There's a long time. There's a long time on these death timers. 20 seconds on missing.
Rookie has the Baron. Yeah, oh my god.
Oh
no
my
way.
Goodness. This is so insane. This is so insane. The inner turret's going to fall. The inhibitor turret is getting chunker's going to fall. Missing up in 7.
Johnny!
The inhibitor. Oh my god. Oh my god. AlkBattery.
They're doing it already!
IG! They've done the unthinkable on death's doorstep! They reverse the curse! They take the win!
And Beijing erupts as IG make the ultimate comeback. It was 3 autos away from their Nexus going down. In Invictus Gaming in 2025, they only came with one mission, and it was to provide bangers here in the LPL.
Oh my god, what a game. I cannot believe that game ended that way.
Now I don't think IG thinks that game ends that way.
Now I want to see a replay. Were they hitting champions too much? Like what happens? How did they not finish? You finished those games.
Well, we were doing a lot of setup for JDG. We said that it came down to can they find Peyz? And in that last fight, the AD carry does fall. IG make what was the unthinkable happen. Stop the Nexus from falling. They rushed the rest of the map. They didn't even care about the soul. And they just completely turned the fates.
Damn, I'm speechless. I really am.
I know.
This is the greatest game I've ever had the fortune to cast. One of the greater games that I've seen, that I've had the pleasure to watch from start to finish. It's just incredibly impressive that IG was able to knock off JDG just in that manner, man. It's so crazy because it's like JDG did it. They got to the late game. They built the bridge. Peyz built the kingdom from the ground up. And it all came crashing down. Empires do not last forever. And that empire did not last more than the 40-minute mark, man. Wow.
I don't know, man. Like, literally that entire game, JDG play pretty decently. They play a very solid game. We get a replay of this final fight here. So we could take a look. Shun just gets taken down. Peyz is trying to auto-attack. Okay, he enters Guardian Angel.
The taunt. Oh.
And then they're just body blocking him this entire time. It's only Ala and Scout, but Scout is way too far away. He's in the middle of his auto attack. That might be the game changer because he has so much AP. Plus he has an Elixir of Ruin. That might actually be the difference between them finishing that game and IG now moving up to 4 and 3. I'm currently updating our group standings graphic. IG are currently 3rd right now because of this win.
Dude, that's crazy. You can see the fan MVP vote going to Jiejie. I mean, like, yeah, he stole that Baron. He stole that Baron. He came up huge in these fights. I think everybody on IG fought really hard to keep this game alive, but I if they give it to anybody else, I think it's a mistake. Despite the fact that Rookie did make some plays, you stole the Baron. You won the game because of the
Stole
Baron.
the Baron at the very end of the game. I think he played a really consistent series, all things considered. I am kind of now looking at JDG. I'm not gonna lie, like Shun had a
Fraud
very
watch.
tough game to play this game. Not fraud watch. They're still top 4, but these are the clutch moments that I think kind of make or break. You cut the chaff from the wheat here. And Jiejie, when it comes down to it, has been the more clutch player for IG. I think about his Lilia game that he had much earlier on, not today, but there was a series where literally he's the only difference. He steals an Elder Dragon. It was with Rafa casting on it. That was an insane steal. We're getting another moment here where IG members clutch up in the very last moments of games to save their team.
Ice in their veins, AlkBattery. Wow. Jiejie getting on top, and poor little brother Shun, right? The dude thought he had it right in his
Yeah.
hands. And then they just took it right out. They plucked it right out of his hands. They're hanging the victory up all over him, man. Oh, that's so tough. Heartbreaking. And, I do wonder that now that JDG has fallen to 3-2, I really do wonder if this game will leave a stain on their memory and may have a negative impact moving forward. Because while it is early regular season, sometimes these losses are very difficult to overcome when you lose in a manner like this.
Yes, I think of how close this was. I think that JDG are quite resilient in being able to kind of maybe shake this one off. They're quite literally one minion away from ending, or not one minion, but one auto attack away potentially from winning that
Close, so
game.
close.
And obviously, that only really matters in horseshoes and hand grenades, but like realistically, they basically won this game, and it was IG with a last second clutch were they able to take down multiple members. It's gonna sting for sure. I'm looking at their future schedule for JDG. It gets very easy for them coming out of this. They're playing against Weibo next, and Weibo have not been bulletproof. Their next 2 matchups, maybe if you're talking about Weibo and AL, but then after that, they're playing against TT. They're still like top level team. The fact that FPX kind of caught them on an off day, maybe there's some stuff there. I think if they have troubles in that Weibo series, then I think we start to call into question what this JDG roster is able to accomplish.
Yeah, because then, as you said, the next match after Weibo is anyone's legend. That's not going to be easy. You have that break with Thunder Talk, but they play 4 games next week, AlkBattery. They cap off the week with a game against Top Esports.
Mm-hmm.
So, we JDG on Monday, the 21st, a couple days from now, need to snap back into it and take care of business against Weibo, because if it starts off on a bad foot, this could be a really ugly week.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Scout still felt pretty invisible, all things considered. You look at their game 1, right, where he's playing the Victor. He gets picked on, kind of a big question mark. And while this was going to be a resurgence for this player, I think we're starting to see more and more of those cracks, the inconsistencies that we saw very early on in the year for 2025. Scout is, a player that was quite literally the entire reason LNG even made it to Worlds multiple times. So to see him kind of fall here in regular season does start to cast a little bit of doubt on this team. And for IG, this was the kind of thing that I was talking about for this team, was the fact that they have some low lows. You get games like game 2 where they get absolutely stomped. But the highs of this roster, man, they provide and they give, they feed the hungry. They're
They
the
feed
light for
families.
the men in the dark. They're the sight for those that are blind. The Church of IG just continues to deliver beautiful sermons in times of darkness.
The Rock of Gibraltar, the Hope Diamond, whatever you want to call them. They are IG. And just soak in this replay, guys. Everybody
Yeah.
who's still here, soak this in. This is awesome.
Look, he has the Elixir of Ruin, man. You literally have Elixir of Sorcery, sorry. 1 auto attack with how much AP he has?
I think it goes down.
Man. MVP, though, has to be Jiejie, right? Like, I know we were talking about it a little bit before, but we have no one else really in our mind. Like, Gala was getting carried for most of that game. Maybe you give it over to Meiko as a potential there, but
now, when you make a play like that, it's got to be Jiejie, right? Like, I don't think you can really give it to anybody else, even even if they play a great game from start to finish, right? Just because that is the most clutch moment of the game. That is what was able to turn things around, despite the fact that the fight, afterward didn't really go so hot. Things were not looking too good after that, and luckily it kept a couple of members with the Baron. As we await the MVP, we hear the noise. Well deserved, Jiejie.
6 MVP votes for Jiejie. Impressive stuff for a guy that was really struggling on EDG last year. I mean, everybody on EDG, I guess, was struggling, right? But he's really made a name for himself so far and gets to take his win over Scout. And him and Meiko can say, hey, World Championship, we're going to keep this one for ourselves.
Yep, put that one in the back pocket, the feather in the cap, feel good about it. And one thing you can feel good about if you're an IG fan are these standings. So you take a look. We have the updated standings for you at the ready, as IG, as you mentioned, now in third. Oh, hold on. This is not the updated standings.
This is not the updated standings.
IG is now in third place.
All right. We'll run it back. Okay.
Yep.
We're gonna do a 2-box. We're gonna come back to us. The standings will be updated in just a little bit of time, but yeah, for everybody at home, IG now move over into third. JDG are fourth. BLG are fifth, which is
brother.
Yeah.
Now, in the meantime, while we wait for updated standings, I would like to thank our Elite Coffee supporters, Aaron Soup and Mung. Their pledged financial contributions